There we go. All right, so for any of you guys watching the replay, this is a live training call that we did as part of the pop-up group that PBK hosts twice a year. So as we're going through, you're going to see me using my whiteboard, you're going to see people asking questions, and you kind of get to be a fly on the wall as part of this whole process. And today we are going to walk through sales funnels. That's going to be by and large what we're going to go through, but we're going to go through what Natasha is working on and trying to set up. And so we are starting with a picture, but I'm going to walk you guys through this as we're getting started. And then Natasha, you're going to help me fill in different pieces as we're going. So as always, we start with our foundational North Pole to New York City. And that is the flight plan or the business model of every single sales funnel in every single business, doesn't matter where it is. So let me just tell you what the categories stand for, because you'll quickly go, oh yes, I have read magnets. So North Pole is our read magnet because it's cold traffic. So when we go, yep, I can visualize North Pole, it's freezing cold, nobody knows who I am. New York City, outside of the current COVID pandemic that we are in the middle of, New York City is our core offer where people are spending their money. Typically, if we have different priced products, this is our higher end product. In the middle of that, we have the lead magnet, which is where people are opting in. And we have our intro offer. Some also might call it a tripwire, or I like to call it a lily pad, meaning people opt in, they need a lower price point or a lower commitment level product or service before they hop to New York City. Now, Natasha has been listening to other calls and she knows we do go beyond New York. So there are sometimes London offers, which are higher price ticket points. Think 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, like much higher price points. So that's where we are getting started. So Natasha, as we're walking through this stuff, there are some questions that I always keep in the back of my mind when I'm trying to figure out which sales funnel do I want to get set up in Kajabi as I'm building the business out. And that is, first of all, where's the next $20,000 coming from? Where am I having that come from? Tracy, we're doing sales funnels today. When I know where the next 20,000 is coming from, then I say, okay, where's the next 100,000 coming from? Because that gives me a little bit of a bookend in terms of knowing where am I headed. If I'm going to make my next 20,000, where is it coming from? And yep, I know where that 20,000 is. Great. Where's the next 100,000 coming from? Because you start to get into the pie. You know, so here's our circle. And when we're thinking about this, sometimes it's the whole pie. Like, yep, my next 20,000 is coming from this one thing. But sometimes we say, nope, I need half of it to come from one thing, half of it to come from another. Okay, that definitely comes into play for people that have a current business and they're likely bringing a portion of it into Kajabi or want to deliver it in a different way, but they need to keep the half that's currently making the money. That half keeps going because they need the financial oxygen. So that definitely comes into play when people are moving into Kajabi and starting to build their first sales funnel. When you have a business that's been up and going for a while, so mine's been going almost 10 years, I have definitely different pieces for sure. So I know where are those pieces coming. So that is, you can put in percentage here. So percentages can go into your circle. Definitely as it's starting, I like to keep it as streamlined as possible, because there's so many different things we get to, build while we're in Kajabi. So Natasha, you want to talk me through and make sure I've got your flight plans correct?
Sure. Okay, so basically what I envision doing is running an SLO funnel. So just strictly to cold audiences for the Launch Your Podcast product, because I know that that's pretty much ready to go right now. So, just making me some passive income as well as bringing me new customers.
Will you explain to everybody what the SLO funnel is?
Yep. So SLO funnel is a self-liquidating offer. So it basically pays for whatever the ad spend costs you're spending, as well as making you profit. But it's only usually ran to a cold audience, so that it just brings you new leads. Sometimes people run it to their warm audience, but it's specifically for a cold audience on when you're using paid advertising. And so it goes from straight to a sales page versus like sending them to a free opt-in or anything like that. It goes straight to a sales page, and then you might have an order bump, and then you might have an upsell, before you get to the actual product. And that just kind of increases your cart value. So that's what I'll be doing with that.
Okay, so we're going to move this guy over, and we're going to move this piece right up here. And you're using Facebook, correct?
Yes.
We're going to just shrink this. This way people still know it's there. So your Facebook ads to your cold audience. Okay, hold on. There we go. All right, so the product that you're doing is the Launch Your Podcast, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and you want to have an order bump and an upsell, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now this, we're going to move this again. Shrink it. So you had an interesting, on this, you said you wanted to do it, but you don't want to be known for it. Can you explain a little bit of that to me?
Yep. So I think sometimes when you're known as like just podcasts, I feel like I can't bridge them into my framework for launching. And when I talk about launching, I talk about launching a passive product, then launching a program, then launching a pillar. And so Launch Your Podcast is like basically my passive product to run behind the scenes. And I feel like if I run that as a lead magnet, I'll become known for podcasting versus becoming known for just launching. So yes. Primarily, I want to be talking about launching, like, the prep phase, pre-phase launching, during the launch, post-launch, all of those kind of things. But the passive product will run in the background. And for anybody in the academy, I was just going to, give them a peek into what I actually do. Okay. And also for those people that are in Launch Your Podcast, I feel like my brain behind it is like, okay, you launched a thought leadership campaign, but now you need to launch something that actually yields you income.
Mm-hmm. Income is always good.
Yeah.
Income is always good. So we're going to pause on that portion. We're going to move down in the middle, like right in here. So the academy, is that what would be a fixed? Because I did two separate options. So I did academy as a fixed course, like start, stop, end type of a format. And then you'd also mentioned you were thinking maybe you'd run it as a membership.
Yes.
Did I get that part right?
Yes.
Okay. So we did those as two.
Yeah, go ahead.
I put them on separate lines so we could talk through different scenarios, because those are obviously very different business models for that kind of content.
Yes.
So you are thinking potentially having a pop-up group as the lead magnet going into the Launch Academy.
Yes.
Okay.
And if it's a fixed thing, of course, I wasn't going to call it an academy. I would call it like 5-figure launch or something like that. But
the content is the same.
yes.
Okay.
So with the fixed one, I was just considering maybe having a base level course so that I'm not teaching every single week, but a base course that's already there and then popping in for like live Q&A, live coaching, kind of like this. And then, you know, that community element. But I've seen it where I said the fix because I really want to drive implementation and action. And so people feel like they're only going to get access to the coaching and the community, which is to me, the bread and butter of the whole experience. They're more likely to act. And so that's why I said the extended option. So if they want to continue those things, like say if they didn't get it, or they want to, you know, have more feedback and launch immediately right after, that they could go into the extended option.
Yep, that makes sense. So if you we're going to go through kind of these questions.
Yep.
And I do promise there is a total method to all of this for sure. Where would the next 20,000 come from for you?
Well, I think probably 1/4 of the pie has to be the ongoing clients that I already have on retainer.
Okay.
And then I think the quickest way for me to make the remaining would be the Launcher podcast, because I feel like I would have to put in some legwork for the academy to be where I want it to be as a fixed course. As a membership, of course, I don't have that much legwork because I'm really taking the framework I've been using with one-on-one clients to build that out. So I would say the quickest way would be the Launcher podcast one way, and then my ongoing clients.
Okay. So then this would be podcast. Okay. So the next 100,000, where's that coming from?
I think that I would want it to be a mixture of all. I know that I could probably do those Facebook ads and scale them really quickly. But of course, that's depending on the algorithm and all those kind of things. So I would really want it to probably be another slash and including that academy. Like I would want it to be a 3-fold pie.
Okay, and do you want to keep the client work?
Honestly, not at the price point I'm doing it for right now. They would either have to go directly into the mastermind because they're already making the metrics for the London.
Okay, so clients get moved to London. Trust me, the people that want you will pay London prices and beyond, for sure. What do you want to be known for?
I think I want to be known for the launching, just because when I think about launching, I really think about taking the idea to market and doing it efficiently.
Okay.
Mediocrity is my greatest irritation. And I really believe people don't master one thing, but they skip around. And so I really want to teach a framework where they're not launching 25 things at once, but they're really focusing on one thing at a time and then building and layering the next.
Okay. Music to my ears. Have you read The One Thing by Carrie Keller?
No.
Oh gosh, you'd love it. It's a good book. Very good book. All right. So what you love, it sounds like, is the launching stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do you like the launching in the framework of a membership, recurring, or do you like launching for the first part? So in your intro portion, as a recurring model or as a standalone model?
I don't know what I like most, but I think that I think that the audience, you know, I think sometimes people can get afraid of higher price points, but honestly, if I feel like I was going to do it in a membership model, I would charge the same price. But it would just be ongoing, if that makes sense.
And when like when people are coming in, do you need them when you're working through the content? Do you need them to come in as a group and stay in that group to completion? Or can they come in at all different random times?
I think they can come in at all different random times because the framework never changes.
Okay. Okay. So evergreen. Then once they finish this portion of the launch framework, what would they move into?
I don't believe launching it one time and then moving to the next. So I would say that we would need, the focus of the Academy Extended is all about metrics and multiplication. So to launch that same offer a second time until we're hitting the metric of a 4 to 5 figure launch, closer to 5.
Gotcha. So if I'm in the extended version, I need to not be hanging out with the newbie people. Correct? Because people that are on their first launch are very different than someone that's on their 5th.
Definitely. I thought that maybe that would be attractive to someone that's on their first because it's encouraging that you can grow. But I understand like sometimes those people might need their own whatever because they might get irritated by that. I was looking at it from the newbies being encouraged, knowing that they could grow to that level.
I will tell you, in my observation, it ends up being frustrating for both audiences. Definitely, and you can see it in any community that you're a part of that has veteran, advanced, and newbies. In fact, I'm in I use the Peloton group as an example. I am by no means a veteran, but I've been around long enough to know there's no pause button. And every time a newbie comes in, it's the same set of 10 questions. And you just are like, that's it, I'm out of here. Like, no, stop asking for the pause button. Like,
right.
Yeah. But it really has to do with what are you protecting for each person's experience as part of your sales funnel. So those are the questions that we think through, because when you're setting up the sales funnel, if I need to keep you separate, then that affects, when you can get to a sales page, when you can get sent an email sequence, all of those different pieces are very different than if I'm mixed. So that was this set of questions that I had written down is for the people, do they need to stay in a group? Can they mix together? Or is it a combo of group and mixing together based on once they've learned different pieces? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So here, when I'm thinking, to me, launching your podcast, yes, if I come in as a completely cold audience from a Facebook ad and I'm going in to launch your podcast and I'm buying all this podcast stuff, you will have some that then do this. But for some, you're going to lose a bunch because that's not how they came in. They're really completely different goals. What I could see, though, is people that are getting ready to launch, meaning I know that I'm using my podcast for a bigger purpose, then that makes sense. So my question is, when you're targeting this launch your podcast, is it to people that have the goal of podcast to membership, podcast to online course, or like my husband, I just want a podcast, but trust me, he's not putting anything after that podcast.
Sure. I specifically wanted to target women of faith.
Okay.
Christian entrepreneurs. So when I think about podcasts, I probably don't think like just launch a podcast. I think using your voice consistently to share your story or your message. And I think that is a vehicle that can be done quickly. It's what I did.
Yep. No, that makes sense. If that's who you're targeting, then it's not such a big disconnect for me at all. Because if I am a Christian entrepreneur, I'm not just like, the podcast is a really easy first vehicle to then move into launching stuff. Right?
Yeah, because I want to break the stigma that you just have to do something just for impact. Like we can go from impact, influence, and to income.
Amen.
And I was just going to weave that into the email sequences.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it really, I mean, you'd be weaving it in from the beginning too, in terms of your Facebook ads, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not targeting just Christians, and I'm not targeting just entrepreneurs. I'm trying to appeal to the people that have this combo package.
Yep.
Now, can I join your launch having never even heard of your podcast program?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I was thinking about just putting that in there too.
What?
I was thinking about just throwing that in there as well. Like throwing Launch Your Podcast into the launching membership.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Are you going to run Facebook ads for the pop-up group also?
I didn't plan on it.
Okay. How are we going to find these people?
Those people are probably already following me on social media. But when I do want to scale it, I probably can add ads. But I mean, I have a pretty decent people that have already been following me for launching.
Okay. Are they, do you have them in Kajabi also?
No, I just started Kajabi. So
Gotcha. Okay. So we definitely want this to have an opt-in portion. Yeah, I think you really could. I would definitely include the podcast stuff here. And depending on how it fits in with the content, it's okay to be very specific about, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. I mean, you know that. It's part of being efficient when you're launching, when you're doing anything, you're repeating the same behavior in the same order all the time, over and over. That's what makes it scalable. That if people are coming in that have already have their podcast up and going, so great, you've got an audience, you're doing this portion, you know, their path to launching could be a little bit different than someone who's coming in cold turkey. That's where I would think through, do I need to keep these people separate, or to what degree can they mix together, depending on how you set up the content. But in terms of the sales funnel, let's get rid of these middle pieces.
yeah, because I was even thinking, like my whole methodology is like that you launch a passive product first before you go out and spend hours and hours launching a program. And so I was going to put in the Launch Academy, like, okay, if you have not launched a passive product, that's where you need to start. If you have a passive, whatever. But I also was thinking that could seem like shiny object syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
People can easily avoid the methodology by saying, well, I don't want to launch a passive product because I really don't see the value in that. But my whole framework teaches launch that first before you go to Yeah.
Yeah, you don't alter your framework. You don't, because you put your entire business at jeopardy. The reason you have a framework, the reason it works is for the people that it's going to help the most. So you are modeling launching a passive product by having this first, right?
Mm-hmm.
First thing that you're going to set up is launch your podcast, because you're modeling for them exactly what to do. Do you give them options on other passive products, or do you know, like, do you drive them in a couple of specific ways, or is it like free for all?
I identify some things that could be categorized as passive.
Okay.
Because I've launched a lot, but I don't want to teach them how to, like, I don't want to create 10 products to be like, okay, these are all the passive ones, and I'm going to teach you how to launch all of those.
Right. Give me your 3 favorites.
I think a podcast, a blog, and I don't know a third one.
That's okay. I'm good with 2.
Okay.
You don't want to give them 10 choices. You're talking like, one, entrepreneurs have enough ideas. Excess ideas is like that always exists. The hard part is getting them to commit to one thing and do it over and over and over again until they hit their metric.
Right.
That's the hard part. So anything that you can do to make that easier for them will tighten up your sales funnel so that it's easier for you to convert. So now, if I'm talking about launching a podcast or a blog to,
I would also probably say live series, because I think that that's how I categorize how to use your voice as a Christian entrepreneur. You either talk, you write, or you're a video person.
Okay, that works. No, that makes total sense, because yes, I non-blogger right here. Get me on video all day long, audio, no problem. Blog, oh gosh, death by a million needles. No, it's not. I just don't have it in me. Now this to me is something that is a much stronger sales funnel for you. The launch product for launching a passive product, be it a podcast, a blog, or a live series, that to me is much better than saying, Christian entrepreneurs, we're going to launch.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, it's going to go 87 different directions.
That's why I thought about
this. To me makes a lot of sense, because then after this, like after I've done this, let's say they stayed in this product offering for launches 1 and 2. Yep. Okay. Now these people can mix and mingle together. You're dealing with total newbies, launch 1, and you're inspiring and helping, like they get to see people that are truly 1 launch ahead of them.
Yep.
Someone that's 1 launch ahead enjoys talking to someone who's just 1 step behind them.
Yep.
Keeping these people together makes a lot of sense. But now we're going to go, let's say, to launches 3 to 5.
Yep.
Now we have the extended group.
Yeah, they're going to launch a program.
Yep. So here, extended group, now we're taking what you know how to do, you've done it, you've practiced it, you now want more. Because you're teaching different concepts. Similar, absolutely, but it's not the exact same set of tricks. Yep. Now, this part, this could easily be a recurring payment. Because some people are going to hop. They're moving right on through. great. Some people, it might take them years
True.
to do that. So to me, the recurring payment gives you that financial security of being able to provide space for someone versus it just being a flat fee payment.
Yep.
Does that feel good to you?
Yep. That was my
Or like what you were thinking?
You heard me. I said, yes, that this is my 17th runway that I had written down. No. Because I was like, it is very different from passive to program and then to a pillar. So in my mind, a pillar is, something that kind of runs on evergreen.
Yeah, because I mean, these people are going to need help.
Yes.
They're going to need you for sure.
For a while before they get the metric.
Yeah.
And before they can afford the next level.
Yeah. And this way you're also not starting on ground zero. Right. And they know your method. So you're speaking, and this comes into play so often. The reason that you and I can communicate, we both speak English. Mm-hmm. I used to speak Japanese. That is long, long gone in my brain. If I tried to have this conversation with someone who spoke only French, we could both talk all day and we're getting nothing done because we're not speaking the same language. That's the same thing in any of our communities. Part of it is, I'm guessing you guys did not put North Pole to New York City as a sales funnel vernacular prior to meeting me. Right. But now, especially for everyone that's been watching every single day, you could probably teach someone North Pole to New York City. Yeah. Because we've just kept the language the same. You're doing that same thing in your sales funnel experience. Yeah. Right? So if we have the pop-up group, I'm going to just put lead magnet here, pop-up group here. And we have a way for people to opt in whenever you're running it. And I'll tell you for myself, which I meshed or blended a couple of different ideas together, but one of the PBK members who's in PBK Gold, and Dave does financial coaching, he runs a monthly virtual meetup for financial coaches. Well, then about every 3 or 4 months, he does a full day summit is what he calls it. So they have different people that are part of their network. They do their one full day summit, so like a pop-up type of a deal, because it's very limited. And then he opens the cart for their membership. So there's ways, even when you're running, and PBK does the same thing, even when you're running this pop-up group, as you're bringing people into this lead magnet, so they're signing up, yep, I'm opting in, I can follow like the email sequence because this sounds like you would have it open evergreen and like it would work. But you can also, when the pop-up group's not open and they're still going through the email sequences, you have a way potentially to interact with them and engage with them.
Yes, I think that works because strategy is my best gift. I feel like I take all of people right now, which is why I need a me. Mm-hmm. But I take all of their ideas and I map their passive, program, and pillar. And it's like, wow, I have so much clarity for where I need to start. Mm-hmm. And that's what I would want to be doing in that virtual meetup kind of pop-up group you talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you're running, I'll write virtual meetup here. If you're running a pop-up group where they can come and they can engage, but it's not open all the time, then what do you have to think about? Okay, that's great if you catch me right at the time that the group's open. But what happens if you find me the day I'm closing down the group and I'm not going to open it up for extended period of time. But you were coming in to get to know me. What can I provide that works as part of the business model, as part of the sales model? So I find, and that, like I said, got it totally from Dave, I liked the virtual meetup as a good complement to a pop-up experience.
Got it.
Okay. So you would have 2 separate North Pole to New York cities built with 2 separate infrastructures as far as email sequences and automations went.
Sure.
And it works especially well for your situation because it's modeling what you are teaching here. If you were teaching 2 so totally different things and I couldn't connect these 2, I would spend the next half hour talking you out of one of them. Okay, and I would succeed. We would get you on, but
break it. No.
I would break it. Oh, I would so break it. But that's why I have to add, like, you, when you're thinking it through, for one person, it might be a total, absolutely, you're crazy to do this. But for someone else, it is absolutely ideal. For you, this is ideal because it is modeling what you're selling them right here. So when you're teaching, you know, when you're teaching this, you have something for them to refer to that more than likely they went through as a user, like as a person that, oh yeah, I remember I clicked on your ad, I went through your course, and now here I am learning how to do it. You've strengthened not just your business, but you've strengthened your sales funnel.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I think I would also, I mean, you're running Facebook ads. Hold on. I'm going to move this. Let me just swap places with these. Move over here. You over here. Hold on. Need some clean space. What did I ever do without this tool? Oh my goodness. Lead magnet. I'm swapping these. Do you have your website up? Or do you have a website?
Nope, I took it down.
Okay. Are you going to have one?
It went out a little bit. What'd you say?
What?
It disconnected a little bit. I didn't hear
you.
Oh,
sorry. Do you have your website up?
I don't right now, but I am in the works of getting one.
Okay, perfect. So on your website, because as people are, you have a podcast, right?
Yes.
Okay. So like, as I'm listening to you, as I'm doing this, you're sending me, I'm guessing, it doesn't exist yet, but a way where I could opt in and learn how to do this.
Yes, but I primarily want to advertise that straight to the sales page with that
This
Facebook
one.
ad. But I mean, if people come to the website, I can have a opt-in on there for them to go down that journey too.
But you want to have it on your website, you want to have them come straight here.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I mean, if you think I should include the first thing as well, I mean, I can, some people like quick fixes. Some people aren't ready for like a bigger course or something. So,
well, no, I think that was my question. I think you should have a single choice for them when they're coming to your website. So since this portion here is if I'm an audio, a writer, or a visual, I'm coming into this. This can just keep running here with Facebook ads, doing its own thing. Right? Because if I wanted to launch a podcast and I came to your website, I would sign up, here to end up here.
Yep.
Okay, that makes total sense to me. That makes complete sense. So we have, we'll call this, bye-bye. One, you have Facebook ad.
You should see my brain trying to figure out what you're thinking. And right?
Just a second, I will tell you.
It's a good pathway here, sales funnel.
So for this one that we've been talking through, starts with a Facebook ad. That's your North Pole. Cold traffic, run in a Facebook ad, click. They get to the Launch Your Podcast Kajabi sales page. They go to the offer checkout page. If they buy, the automation that would trigger would be your email sequence buyer, what I call buyer intro, onboarding them into that experience. Then you have this layer of time. So I just put plus time because you want to get them down here, correct? Or am I wrong?
Does that include the order bump and the upsell?
No. No.
So the main page would have the order bump, but then I'll send them a buyer intro, and in the buyer intro email sequence, probably in that midst of that time, I'll have the upsell.
Gotcha.
Because the upsell is also a soft sell within the course.
Got it. So let's do, okay. What is the, what's the price for the course?
It's going to be $37 for Launch Your Podcast. The order bump is $17, and the upsell, I'm thinking about $67. The order bump is how to basically get approved on all the hot platforms in 3 days or less. And the upsell is actually branding, like the cover art and stuff like that for promotional materials, because I used to have a branding agency.
Got it. And are you going to use Kajabi for all of it?
Yes.
Okay. We talked about how like order bumps and upsells aren't that sexy right now, right?
Yes, and I asked about ThriveCart.
Okay.
I'm considering it for the cuteness, but honestly, I would rather have it all in Kajabi. And do the graphic on the side to include the cuteness that I want.
Yeah. What? Yeah. So offer checkout. Would you sell all of them together as an option also?
I honestly think the funnel, as far as me testing it, when I do sales funnels with clients, I feel like it works better separated because it's not required for you to get that original course. Like you can very well go get your graphics made by a graphic designer. You could very well get the order bump by something else. I think the order bump will probably be a guaranteed sale.
That's the graphics, right?
The order bump is how to get approved on the top platforms in 3 days or less.
Platform. The 67 is the graphics.
Yep.
So could I buy I'm just thinking through it, like how Kajabi's set up. If I'm looking at a sales page in Kajabi, here's my 37, here's my, oh, it's 37 plus 17, 54. So it's 54 for both. These are call to actions. This, again, can go straight to a checkout page and I can just buy it all. This has the intermediate step of the upsell, right?
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. Like if, and you don't have to get into all the nitty gritty now, but you can, I mean, it's easy enough with Kajabi just to have a nice button that's like, oh, you just want to buy it all right now? Cool. Click, buy it all at once.
Yeah.
You can still have everyone go through the different separate pieces for those that aren't ready to buy. But that's what I was wondering is, would you want a button that's like, yeah, you want to buy it all right now? Cool.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And then if they buy both, then that upsell on the last cart could just be, I mean, the order bump could basically turn into the upsell if they buy both on the first page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would
Yeah.
that complicate how many sequences and stuff I have to send?
Oh yeah. Every choice has exponentially more work.
Yeah.
Every choice. You make, oh, I'm gonna make two choices instead of one. It is exponentially more work.
Sure.
But sometimes it makes sense. And sometimes you step back and go, yeah, I don't want that much extra work because I'm trying to do, 4 different options and then support it for the people that don't buy.
Yeah.
But I always tell people it's never the people that buy that we have to truly worry about. They just click, 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 and voila, they're done. It's oh, you didn't buy. Now let me keep nurturing you with these different sequences and targeting methods. That's where the complexity starts to bubble up very quickly.
Definitely. I think I would just want one button on the sales page.
Okay, that is. There you go. All done. Okay. Okay. So check out, once they purchase the first 37, then that's going to trigger this email sequence buyer intro. Now, when you're, and this is where it's really tricky. This is why I tend to use separate offer checkout pages, is because in this sequence, let's say I send, hey, you want to buy the 17 because you didn't buy it on the checkout, like you didn't take advantage of it.
Nope.
This is going to go to everybody who bought the 37. I don't have a way in Kajabi to start finessing them because it's all tied to the same offer, like the offer checkout piece. So depending on how you set up your sequences after the fact, you want to make sure that you have the ability to have additional condition logic so that you can say, send this sequence to people who own the 37 but not the 17. Send this to people that own 37 and 17.
Yep, I think I'm going to do a very, very, very soft sell.
Okay.
Email like, oh,
Perfect.
and if you missed out on this, get it.
Mhm.
Versus a very hard sell, revisiting the offer and stuff.
Yeah. No, but that's totally how, like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
And then this one, I mean, this one's very straightforward. They opt in, and then you would just start the sequences. So you'd have the email sequence, welcome lead magnet. You'd have the nurture welcome lead magnet. As soon as they clicked and saw your sales page here, then they would receive the sales sequences. And as soon as they buy that, they would go not to this buyer intro sequence, but to the buyer intro for this product.
Yeah, got it.
Does that give you an idea of what you'd build now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically the membership would be,
You could have a membership, like you could have a payment model recurring under both of those if you wanted.
yeah, I'm gonna do a payment plan, but so the launch pass of product would be the intro, and then the other thing, launch a program would be New York City, and launching a pillar would be London.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Which is that what you had as your mastermind?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Yep. And I would build them, like you said, get this one up and going because you're modeling for them what makes sense for this one. So get this one built first, then get this one third, fourth.
Got it. And I just want one more clarification.
Yeah.
As far as the lead magnet for the second runway in the middle,
Mhm.
with the pop-up group and then the opt-in and a virtual meetup. So the opt, do I do all three of those? I'm a little confused on what I would do.
Sorry, let me write them in a better order for you. Okay, so they're going to opt in. As part of that, if you're doing a pop-up group, you're going to have specific dates.
Yep.
You may know the dates, you may not know the dates.
Yep.
So, yep, I'm opting in. I can obviously still keep getting your newsletters or whatever you're sending, but let's say, for instance, and I'll just use mine as an example, it's open in April and it's open in September.
Yep.
It's awesome if you catch me April 1st or April 5th or April 6th, but if you find me today, you have the choice of, hey, guess what? Opens tomorrow. You may have just seen me on YouTube.
Yep.
It's too fast. It's like, whoa, whoa, lady. Like, I don't know what's going on. No problem. So all the other months, so 12 other months.
Yep. Virtual meetups.
Virtual meetups.
Yep.
And depending on your business, what you have going on, you can always send special things like pandemic hit. I was not planning on doing daily lives every single day.
Yeah.
I couldn't because I'm the primary caregiver for my 4-year-old who's obviously home with me except for preschool. Pandemic hit. Guess what? I have more time than I've had in 10 years. Cool. I can now offer this every single day. I can run it differently. The virtual meetup, let's say we're doing something like a virtual meetup where it's just one thing a month or one thing every couple months, whatever it is. But then you're like, hey, you know what? There's this thing going on and I have time. You can send something out to that portion of your list that has opted in and say, hey, here, we have a pop-up call. We have a pop-up training where I'm sending you this video, or
yeah,
you're creating and nurturing that relationship in ways that are different than if you're holding space for them.
Definitely. Because I need that flexibility with the 4 kids.
Yeah.
Committing to something and then I can't do it because a lot of stuff pops up. So yeah, it's a great model.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so tracking with you because that's why I gave up listening to anyone's webinars when I was pregnant with Tad, because I'm like, yeah, no, I can't schedule any of this stuff. My children are the pop up in my world. You know, I'm like, oh, that's right. Wouldn't that be lovely? Like, you schedule a call at noon and you can just go in your office and close the door and nobody says, Mom.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm totally tracking with you. But that's the nice feature is you're holding space for them, but it gives you the ability to say, oh, look at that. I've got extra time. So I can send something out, even if I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to open it up this afternoon. Easy peasy. So all you're doing is having them opt in to whatever you want to call it. And it really can be just come into my world. Like, let me just tell you about launching your passive product.
Definitely.
As a Christian entrepreneur, it doesn't matter if you like to talk or write or be on video. I can help you.
Yeah.
And then in your sequences, you can obviously give them links to however you want to interact with them, if it's something outside of an email sequence.
Okay. Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I appreciate it.
Any other questions that you have on this? Yeah, I'll totally send you the screenshot. Absolutely.
Nope, I'm crystal clear on this.
What?
I said I'm crystal clear on this. Definitely clarity.
Perfect. Okay. Other questions that you guys have listening to Natasha and I walk through this at all?
I had a question about the two-step opt-in. When you create that, let's say on your master page where you just clone that to start a new page, then are your two-step opt-ins the same everywhere across the board, or is it advantageous anywhere along the line, like in this situation, to customize it a little bit?
Yep. Yeah. You want to, let's pop over to Kajabi.
Do you want to customize it, or do you just want to leave it alone?
Nope. Your two-step opt-in, you can have one set for all site pages, or you have a separate one for every single standalone and or pipeline page. So when you're on, we'll do site pages first. You definitely want to customize it, and that's where you need to know what's the front door, where am I sending people, so that as you build, it's no big deal. I'd say the first 6 months for sure when you're in Kajabi, because you don't have a lot in there. But once you start customizing, it will turn into a very wiry network, especially if you're building your site pages with landing pages or standalone pages, because the two-step opt-in is, here we go. So here, is this what you're talking about, Elise? This two-step opt-in?
Yes.
Okay. So we're on a site page. So when I edit this from the website, I will choose a form that names are getting added to. I will choose the thank you page that is seen after they submit. And here, we'll change this, submit, change this to sign up now. And if I click show pop-up, this is for editing purposes only.
Right.
You definitely want to customize this for what they're signing up for.
Mm-hmm.
So once I'm done editing it, I make sure to uncheck it and click save. Otherwise, it will show up all the time.
So it's landing page specific. You can customize it based on what you're trying to get them to do on that particular landing page and topic.
Yes. Yep. So the website pages will have one option, and then on your landing pages, it is still a two-step opt-in, but it operates independently. So you can make a different choice. Does that answer your question?
Yes, so the first one you showed us was when you first go into Kajabi and you're setting up site pages, right? Okay, this version is for your standalone pages. You can go in, click on your settings, go into your two-step option, and then it'll pull it open and you can customize there.
Yep. Just keep very detailed records about what form you have on what page, because when you change your mind, without, you won't know where to go back. Speaking from someone who's had digital egg on her face a few times.
So do you have a recommendation of how to label that? Like, so when you go back through, you can say, okay, this is like, do you say, in other words, like you have template here to start your landing page sequence or category? Would you say opt-in or two-step opt-in and then label whatever that two-step opt-in is for?
I just call it opt-in lead magnet and then the name of the lead magnet.
Okay. But if you're on a different page, you just call it, you'd start out with two-step opt-in and then whatever it is.
No, I don't call it two-step opt because it's not, it really isn't a two-step opt-in pop-up. For people that have used other systems, it's not at all. Gotcha. So I just call it an opt-in, mainly for people that came from something like lead pages. Because it doesn't mean the same thing in Kajabi as it does on other platforms. So I just, because it has to do with the form, so I would have opt-in lead magnet, whatever the name of that page was for that front door, and then the two-step opt-in, the names match. Because I'm using the opt-in lead magnet form, they're one and the same.
And that's the form that you created under forms in the beginning. Got it.
Yep. No, right now, Natasha, there's not a two-step offer checkout process. It's just click the offer checkout page and work through that. That's how it works right now. But under pages, if I open up a page, here, and it's the same with exit pop-up. So exit pop-up is at the site level. It is also at the individual page level. I think I have too many tabs open again today. Everything is slow. Stop share and see if I can get it to go quicker. Tracy can relate. Oh, no matter what I do, I try to not open so many tabs. It always happens that way. Oh, let's see. Elise, what do you mean by pre-sales intro?
I was looking through the setup for the emails in the glossary, and it said if you're using a pre-sale intro for a webinar call or something else, I'm trying to get to it. Maybe it's not in what I have printed off, but I had in the glossary, I'd run through that, saw that. under email sequences.
If you're pre-selling a product?
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick here.
Okay. So here we're on a Premier page, and the two-step opt-in pop-up is down here, just like on a site page. On Encore, it's underneath settings over here when you're using Encore pages. And in terms of taking someone from their buyer sequence into New York City, yes, I definitely recommend having time in there. And let me tell you, it's a great, great book. It is called Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. Yep, Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. And it's a brilliant book, absolutely brilliant. And totally paraphrasing, but the idea is when someone has purchased and the first thing they see is, hey, now buy this, you've robbed them of the satisfaction and the confirmation and the validation of, I took action, I made this purchase, validate me, celebrate me, confirm with me, yes, I made this, before you sell me something else. So depending on what it is you're selling, depending what the nature of your sales funnel is, celebrate them, validate them, affirm, yes, you took action, you made this sale before sending them anything else. So instead of stacking it like, oh, you did this? Oh, but wait, there's more. You know, I ran into this on the, I was buying masks for our family, and like I bought it, you know, it took me forever to like, do I want this kind? Do I want that kind? They were our super duper ones, which are still haven't mailed, you know, they're still on their way, I think, from China to get to us. But as soon as I clicked pay, it was, but wait, there's more. And I was like, seriously, you could have just told me this on the first screen. Like, you could have just let me pay it. So then I had to go through the whole process again. Do I really want this? Do I want to add this? Like all of those things. Yeah, it's Never Lose a Customer Again by Joey Coleman. Great book. Highly recommend it. I have it on Audible, like really easy to listen to, especially if you like go for a walk or, you know, cleaning house or doing something. But then you really do have to sit with it. And it's great because he methodically walks through the different pieces of practically how can you fit, like how can you go through each of the phases. And let me see if I think I wrote it. I know I wrote it down, but let me see if it's in any way, shape, or form. Yes, I do. Okay, just a second. This, when combined with sales funnel, to me made so much sense. And I learned a lot. So these are my notes from his book. So he lays out 8 phases of a customer experience. So the first phase is assess, which is when do they want to work with you? So in this, you know, portion, then they decide, yep, you are the best choice for them. This is the sale. Like number 2 is the sale. And it's really interesting because as he walks through, he's like, most businesses completely forget all of this. Like this does not exist. And he said, this is what causes the retention issues, is it stops as soon as you've made the sale. He then takes you through all of the different phases and what to address to get someone from saying do I want to work with you, to being your best raving fan ever. So again, he made them all A's. So it's admit, affirm, activate, acclimate, accomplish, adopt, and advocate. In term, like that is the entire, all the different levels of a sale. Yeah.
So getting back to your question about the pre-sale intro, it lives on the glossary right under nurture welcome lead magnet.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay. That was the one I was asking what to do with that, if anything. The live call webinar event once for free.
Okay. Yeah, I would say hold off on that.
Mm-hmm.
The live webinar offered once for free. That is a total advanced move. Brenda does that in her business. I don't think you guys have met Brenda yet.
Mm-hmm.
But Brenda and Rick have that as part of their sales funnel. And basically they let people come into an invitation to attend one of their mastermind Zoom calls that they have as a paid product. They, instead of running separate stuff as a lead magnet, they let people come in once. They opt in, they can attend one call for free. Once they've attended one for free, they get blocked and they can't be invited to any other ones. So that is
So sort of a rule for your North Pole to New York City is that you have one lead magnet, right? That's it. Just that's on your flight plan, one only. Don't stir the pot. So in other words, don't have something they click on, and or if you want to chat with me first for a free call, that's a no-no. Just give them one choice. Okay.
One choice until you're meeting your metrics, because you've got to get the conversion path converting. And every time, it's like anything. If, multitasking is a complete misnomer. Like none of us can truly multitask. We have to at times because, especially, mom, okay, yes, you do this and you do this and you do this. Every bit of distraction, every choice is completely bifurcating my energy. I have X amount, and if I start sending some here and some there and some there, I can't send 100% in all directions. So when you're setting up your business, North Pole to New York City, I have to get my first path where I can focus 100%, get that converting. Then I can check in and say, okay, this is converting. Now, am I going to split these pathways and send a portion of my energy and resources this way and a portion this way? Or do I say, you know what, this is converting really well now. I want to stay focused over here and keep 100% going this direction. So once you're meeting metrics, you have a different form of a check-in. But getting started, for me, it's a no-no. One front door. Do not give them other options, because they get confused. And, in a lot of ways, we're all still learning and we don't know what it's capable, like good, I got Kajabi set up, like it's up and going. Two choices is exponentially more work.
Right.
Other questions? You guys are good today.